Hello everybody, my name is Nicole Butner and this is my unit on logo design for my 4th grade art classes. So first and foremost, I have taught logo design to my 4th graders in the past. However, after taking this class, I've made a few improvements to the unit that I've learned about in the class. So there are 3 main parts of the unit, and part 1 is using a digital design app called Procreate. We are very fortunate this year in my classroom to have 15 new iPads, 15 Apple Pencils, and the ability to download certain digital drawing paid apps such as Procreate. So students will start by watching this video tutorial that I created. I created a video about the 10 main tools and processes that I wanted them to know about within this app, and I posted that on YouTube that they can view. We view a lot of video tutorials that I create on our YouTube channel for my class, and so I created this code worksheet that they can scan with the iPad and they can use their headphones to watch this video. So while they're watching that video, they will be taking notes about the 10 tools that I want them to focus on. So this is their notes page. They will start by drawing the tool in each of the boxes and then just describing how you use that tool. So the beginning of the video will start with how to add a new work of art, and then it will go to tools such as the brush tool, eraser tool, how to undo or redo something within their work, the smudge tool, the concept of using layers, the color palette tool, how to create perfect shapes and lines, the selection tool, and then the wrench tool, which will allow them to add text and images. So I'm just going to go and preview that video that I created on my YouTube channel. And you can see here it's about 18 minutes long, and I just kind of screencasted myself going through each of those steps of the notes. So adding a new work of art, and then how to use the various tools. And you can see here if I unmute it, you can hear my voice talking. So these are supposed to mimic the way that a paintbrush or a pen or a pencil would. The next layer here, or the next bar here, is how I change the opacity. It might be quicker to, instead of just erasing, click the undo button. These are on the side here, the undo and redo button. Also move this layer around. So let's just say I click layer 2 and I go to the move tool on top here. I can move layer 2 individually from layer 1 and 3. So essentially I'm just going through each of the 10 tools and processes. I go a little bit more in depth into each of the tools. Some are just more simple, such as how to use the brushes and the eraser tool, and some are a little bit more complex, such as the layers tool. So when they finish that whole video, they'll complete their notes page, and then from there, they will do a little mini project. And this mini project, these 7 steps here, just sort of outline the main points of the notes, so the tools that they learn about in the notes. So they're just creating a little creature character, and if they're able to create this based on the steps, then it will show me as sort of like an informal assessment that they understood the tools. So they obviously can use their notes when they're doing this mini project, and they will just kind of check in with me and show me that they've finished this as a proof of creating it and that they understand the tools. So this is another little mini assessment tool that I created. This could be given as well, or it could be given in place of this, sort of just to save time based on the class or their abilities, or just whatever I choose that year. So this is just a quiz based on the tools, so they would have to fill out what each of these tools are and what they do. So same thing as this, it's just, this is more of an interactive way to show that they understand the tools. This is just more of a quick quiz assessment. So you could use either of these or just one. Okay, part 3. Now we've understood the tools of Procreate and how they're going to create their unit project. Part 3 is really getting into the meat of why are we doing this. So the students are going to read this article about brand identity that I've created, and they will choose a partner and read this with a partner. And when they go through all of this, this is really just about what makes up a brand, the main elements of brand identity. So your voice and your brand story, what certain types of shapes and forms mean within logos and designs, color palettes, what different colors mean, typography, different types of lettering and what story they can tell, and then logo design. So after they understand all of this about brand identity, them and their partner will use this visual organizer that I've created, and they will have to come up with their brand identity. So they are really, in this situation here, acting as a client. They are coming up with what is their brand, and they're acting as if they need a logo for their brand. So they'll have to start with, what is our brand name, and then what's the voice, brand story. So coming up with, what is their company all about? Then they'll go into imagery, typography, and color palette and give some suggestions on what they want to see within their brand, and then logo suggestions. So when they finish this, they're going to switch this with another group. So now they're acting as designers. They will give this client worksheet to a different group, and then they will receive a client worksheet from another group. So now they're taking another group's client worksheet and they have to create a logo based on the other group's requests. So this is where part 4 comes in. Now they're actually creating their final assignment. So they're creating as designers. They will use Procreate and this visual organizer together and what they've learned about Procreate and brand identity. And they will have to create a logo for their partner's group. This will be the largest part of the project, creating the project, and they'll go through a few drafts. They will have to meet back with their original group to have sort of like a little meeting, a client designer meeting, to see if this logo is meeting the needs of the visual organizer and their brand identity. So that's sort of the gist of the project. At the end of the logo unit, I will use a formal rubric to assess each group's final design, and that will be many aspects of the art standards that we use in all of our rubrics based on creating, presenting, responding, and connecting, our main 4 anchor standards. Okay, that's about it for my unit. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.